Welcome to the Indie Author Roadmap, the podcast for new and aspiring indie authors.
We're your hosts, Rachel and Rob, here to help guide you on your writing journey.
Join us each episode as we share tips, insights and practical advice to help you take the next steps towards becoming a successful indie author.
Whether you're working on your first book, navigating self-publishing, or looking to connect with fellow indie authors, this is the place for you.
So grab your notebook, settle in, and let's hit the road to your publishing dreams.
Because right in the end is just the beginning. Hello and welcome to Indie Author Roadmap with me, Rob Radcliffe, and...
Me, Rachel Morton.
I'm doing it that way, but it might be that way. I don't know which way we'll actually end up. Because at the moment on this screen, you're on my right, but then when I end up editing, you'll be on the left. So I do that again. For anyone not watching, just ignore me. Hello and welcome to Indie Author Roadmap, episode 11. I'm Rob Radcliffe and...
I'm Rachel Morton.
Very good. And today we're going to be talking about what, Rachel?
Writing routines and schedules.
Right, okay. So,
and I think with a little bit of how to write when you're just super busy and got a full-time job and life.
Okay, so you've just added another episode. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, shall we add some Patreon, because we usually had that one recently?
Yeah. Chat about mailing lists and structuring. Yeah, go on. So, what bit we're going to do first then?
Well, writing routines and schedules.
Okay, writing routines and schedules.
Or it's schedules, isn't it? Because we're English. It's not schedules, it's schedules.
Schedules. Okay. Writing routine and routines.
Have you frozen?
Neither of us want to go first.
What's your writing routine?
I should have gone first and asked you that, shouldn't I? My writing routine is, and it's very on and off, I try and have a solid routine every day, but I don't, and I just don't. I've always been like a binge writer, so I'll go a few days and then without doing anything, and then I just hammer it and do like 10,000 words in a day, and I don't know why that is. I would like to be one of these people who does 2,000, 3,000 words a day, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I will get up at 5 a.m. and come to my little writing shack for a number of days, and then I won't. And then I'll make it up 2 weeks later by doing 20,000 words in like 2 or 3 days. So my routine's fucked.
I suppose, though, it's probably quite hard to do your writing routine in the winter because you've got to go outside to your shed.
Yeah, let's call that an excuse.
It would be mine, having to trudge through the bloody cold at 5 a.m. when you've got to get out of your nice warm bed. I'd be like, no.
I mean, no, it's getting out of that bed. It's not really, I have to. If I'm up and I'm out, then walking across the garden really isn't the thing. It's getting out of bed, and it's getting out of this routine because I spent so many years being a night owl. Not being a night owl, because I can't get up at 5 and go to bed at midnight every night. I can do it maybe 1 or 2 times, but then it's turning my clock around, if you like.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult because everyone goes to bed at like 8, 9 o'clock in the house and it's quiet, and I do want to relax. I don't want to think, right, well, it's time for me to go to bed because I'm up at 5. And I do it, but then I don't. And I'm very up and down with it all. But if I am up, walking into the writing shack is not the issue. It's the getting up. And it's not what... At the moment, I'm watching Black Sails religiously every night, and like 4 or 5 hours worth of it. So I'm not getting up at 5 because I'm just hammering that. And what I'm saying to myself, as I always do, is, it's research. You might one day write something about pirates, but it's not. I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my writing routine when I'm being good is 2,000 words a day. I always stick to around there, and it's about two hours work for me. And getting up at 5 a.m. in here for 5:30, and then it is just writing. Just writing until 7:30. That's when the house wakes up, and then I'll go back in there and I'll do the whole morning routine thing. And then usually, because I've been doing that writing, my brain's thinking about stories and where I can take it and stuff, or maybe I want to finish a bit off or whatever. But then after the school run, about 9:30, I will come back in and do another hour. So it's usually about 3,000 words a day when I'm getting up and not watching Black Sails all night.
Yeah.
What's your writing routine?
So your problem is, I was saying your problem is Black Sails then.
Not for long. I'm on the last series now. So
yeah. My routine is I wake up about 5ish, and then I have a coffee or a tea, and I probably I don't go to my office at the moment. I literally have a table on the bed, which I put on the bed with all my crap, and so I stay in bed and been writing just because it's cold and miserable and the house is noisy. And I do morning pages first, if you've ever heard of the morning pages.
What's morning pages?
You've never heard of morning pages? No, so there's this book called The Artist's Way, which is really cool, and millions of people have heard of it, except for Rob.
Right.
And in it has this practice of thing called morning pages, and it's 3 pages of handwritten stream of consciousness stuff, which is where I'll just scribble about my book, about whatever, into it, and then I'm ready to write. I've done it every morning for 4 or 5 years.
So you're warming the engine up.
Yeah, I always think of it as when you've got a pen and you rub it to get the ink flowing. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's waking up Mr. Muse.
Exactly. Yeah, but you do it before you get on social media and before you fill your brain with anyone else's crap and just your own. But you can literally write whatever you want. So I do that, and then I'm usually pull my MacBook or laptop onto myself by about 6:30, and then I write till 8:30, 9 o'clock. And my goal is 2,900 words because I want to write 1 million words in a year. But I've been getting about 4,000 words because I write on For the Words, and there's a group of Americans that are still writing. So every morning I join in with the battles with them on For the Words, and they turn it on to extreme because we're crazy, and so you can just blast the words out because there's no time to procrastinate because there's 6 other people.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that I can see how that'd be quite good because it's you just have to get the words in. It's you have that deadline, or you have are you attributed the amount of words that you've done kind of thing?
So we just had one. I mean, the sprints are all sorts of sizes. So we did one, you had 8 minutes to write 360 words each. And so when there's a full group of 8 of you, it's the total, whatever 8 times 360 is. And you've got 8 minutes to write that amount of words between you. So some of you will write more and some of you will write less, but between you hit the total goal and defeat the monster and get points.
And defeat a monster.
Yeah, and if you're a gamer, it really, because I do play games. I'm a nerd and I'm a big World of Warcraft fan, so it just fits right into my brain.
Cool.
So yeah, but that's my writing routine at the moment.
So at the moment you're getting just under 5,000 words a day.
Yeah.
So you're definitely making up for the other week
when I was unwell. Yeah. Yeah, because at January, I was supposed to have written, I think it came in at 58,000 words if I wrote my word count every day, but I was about 20,000 words short, and that's because I was poorly at the beginning of the year.
So how many words did you write last year?
It was just shy of 900,000 words.
And you released 9 novels, I'm guessing?
No, because remember, I double write.
So you kept right. So you,
But my word count includes my fiction, but I also include my blog posts. So if I write for Medium, if I write a blog post on my Patreon, they all count.
you see, I never do that. My word count is my book. Anything
Yeah.
else is, like so your newsletter, you'd account anything
I
you
wouldn't
do.
count my newsletter, but if I'm writing a blog post, because I class that as a big piece and it's creative and I've got to think, I'll count that.
Right.
But I don't count my newsletters, they're not word counts. I don't count normal posts. But if I'm properly sitting down to write something like a blog post, I count that in my word count.
Right. I've always, I
Um,
mean, yeah, I've always just counted my my words on the
yeah,
book, whatever book I'm writing.
yeah.
So
Well, it's,
you did 900,000 last year.
yeah,
So you did 450,000 really then,
yeah,
and
because I double wrote, yeah.
so that was 5 books, 4 books. Or how much?
Um, I think I put out 3 last year. And then this one that I'm just finishing now was actually mostly written last year.
Yeah.
So I'm just at the end of it. And yeah, so I basically wrote 4 books. But I wanted 6. And I want 6 again this year.
Yeah. So you want one every 2 months. Well, that's it. I mean, you can also like even if you don't release all 6 every year, it means that you've got like a backlog. So it takes the pressure off a little bit
Yeah.
to produce. And then I find when you don't have that pressure, you produce better and more just because there's not that stress of having to
No.
get it out. I mean, especially when you decide that you're going to write 1 million words every year.
I have that. Well, I wrote a blog post and I figured I've written over 10 million words now since I've been an indie author.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. You
Yeah.
10 million word blog post.
Yeah, I didn't count it up, but I was like, it's got to be because I've had this goal of writing 1 million words for ages. My original first time I had a writing goal, 'cause I've always participated in Nano, NaNoWriMo.
Yeah,
And there was one year I was like, what if I NaNoWriMo'd for a year? Because the NaNoWriMo daily writing goal is like 1,667. And I
yeah.
literally did that for a year and I came out with like 500,000 words at the end of the year. And I'm like, I can do this.
Shouldn't it be 600,000?
Could be
Maths.
600,000.
Yes.
I mean, it was years ago, so I'm only like guessing what it was, but I literally wrote the 6,667 words a day for a year.
Did you only just write the 1,667? Is that all you did? Like, right, I've
Yeah,
done
because
that.
I was working at the time, so it was an easy goal to have because I still,
Yeah, it's only an hour a day, isn't it?
yeah,
Ish.
I still had like a real job
Yeah.
and kids at home, so it was a manageable goal at the time, and it was just a challenge to set myself because there was none of this Facebook and being accountable and all that, so it was the only way
No.
to do it. Yeah, I've still got the spreadsheet somewhere with the whole year.
That's cool. I think I need to make some goals like that because I don't really at the moment. I've got book goals and I've got
Yeah,
publishing goals for this year, but I don't actually have the nitty gritty of word count goals. I try and give myself a goal of 2,000, but obviously I sometimes do it and I sometimes don't. And I think it's because the pressure's off because I've got so many books ready to be published, republished. But then that doesn't make me a writer, does it? I'm just fucking around. Like, just resting on my laurels is what I'm doing.
yeah,
Knowing that I've got these books to come out. But they're all going to be published this year. So it means next year, unless I do get some words in the bank, I'm going to be like, fuck, I'm really going to have to, especially if something takes off and people are demanding the next one. I mean, they already have readers demanding the next one anyway, but
yeah,
something say went viral for whatever reason, and then they fly through all the books in a series, and then they're all there waiting.
yeah,
You need to live that quick, otherwise they'll go away and find someone else, and you don't want
yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely. I think you have to give yourself a non-negotiable goal or
Yeah,
daily word count, even if it's just 500 words. It's like whatever I do, I've got to get 500 words.
yeah, and that's 5 for 25. Do you know what I do write? If we're counting blog posts and other stuff like that, I do write about 2,000 words every day.
Yeah.
It's just
The only reason I
because,
started to count blog posts is because if I'm editing or I'm brainstorming or whatever, and I don't really plot, but I will like do a lot of journaling, brainstorming, working backstories out of characters. I will do that, and it might take me a couple of weeks. So I have a couple of weeks not writing, but while I'm doing that, I'll also kind of switch to the non-fiction stuff and do blog posts. So that was where I started counting it because I'm like, I'm still writing.
yeah.
So yeah, but because I don't count, because I know some people do count their editing in their word counts, which I don't.
No, no. Well, I mean, well, because you write a book and then you rewrite it.
Oh, I count that, but like, when you're sitting reading, then you go and sit and actually go through it and you're editing stuff. I don't count any of that.
No, because if anything, you'd be in the minus because
Yeah.
you're taking stuff out.
Yeah, well, that's it. You might add 500 words, but then you might down the line take 1,000 words out. So I don't, because I was like, it's just too annoying to try and figure out how many words I've written in an edit. So I just don't count them.
Yeah. So what do you do when you finish your 2,000, when you finish your game and you've defeated the monster, what then is your routine for the day?
I get up and I get dressed. And I do all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff. Go
you're
and
still dead, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. At the moment, I'm still, mind you, even um, if I go to my office, I'm still in my pajamas. I literally get out of bed, get my coffee, and go to my office in my pajamas. So it's still the same routine afterwards. It's still then get ready for the day.
Yeah.
Because I find if I get dressed and stuff beforehand, my brain goes into my day stuff.
Right.
The crap you've got to do for life.
Are we going to one day see you doing one of these podcasts in your pajamas still because you haven't got up yet?
No, never. You don't need that sight.
Big fluffy dressing going on.
Hair tied back.
So when you've got up, you've done your whatever, you've defeated your monster for the day. So you know that you've got some words in the bank, so it takes the pressure off, and you've got dressed. Well done. You've got dressed. What does your day look like then? Because it's not just about writing routines, is it? It's about the routine of the day,
It depends what I'm doing. So I'm doing freelance work at the moment as well. So I'll switch to that after my
Right.
writing and get whatever I need to do done for that. Yeah. When I wasn't doing the freelance work, I used to go back to writing, and I would, because we've talked about how I used to write on Medium. So
Yeah.
I would. Well, actually, I used to write less in the morning. It's that Parkinson's law thing, isn't it? If you've got 6 hours to do something, it'll take you 6 hours, but if you've only got an hour, it'll take you an hour.
Yeah.
So when I didn't have the freelance work, I'd still do the same amount of words, but I'd do it in a longer time period.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, but I would switch to like Medium posts and blog posts kind of in the afternoon.
Okay.
What about you? And so in the morning, when you're on a good routine and you get up, you go to your writing shed, you do your 2,000 words, then you go back into the house and do all the morning stuff. Then what do you do?
When I get back from school well, it's not even school anymore because I mean my son walks to school now, and Shan takes the others, which is literally down the road. My morning routine is making Robin, my son, his packed lunch and then just drinking a lot of coffee. It's not. I'm not the one like battling the wind and rain to get the kids to school, which is literally just down the road anyway. Even if I do, so then I will go and walk the dog for an hour. Always and usually I'm either doing a TikTok or checking TikTok or just having a think about what's coming next in the story. And then I'll come back. I'll usually do about 1,000 words, but it'll be something different. So if I've been doing, say, my Divine series in the morning, then I will do maybe a chapter of my Peter Pan retelling, something, just to change the palette, if you like. After that, mess about on my computer a lot. I'm very good at making new folders and just to put existing folders in. For me to get to any of my actual things, I have to click through about 5 different folders to get to it. It's brilliant. It's like a massive web, and I have to remember exactly where everything is. It's fantastic. So I might make a new folder for something really important, and I'm just very good at fucking around.
So what we've established is if you stop messing around on TikTok, ma- making folders and watching Black Sails, you could get 1,000,000 words a year written.
Says who?
Because you could easily do 10,000 a day.
Do you know what? Do you know? I've got at the moment. I've got about 11 works in progress, but I've got five that are either ones that I'm definitely going to be writing this year, or ones that I'm halfway through writing, or at various stages. And I was thinking about doing another writing challenge, like a long one, not a 24 hour, because I won't be able to do that just with life, but maybe a 12 hour one, just to proper throw me back into finding Mr. Muse, and it would be literally just 12 hours, boom, because I did enjoy when I did that 24 hour one, although it was torture. 12 hours of it was really good. Have you ever thought of doing something like setting a challenge like that for yourself?
Um, I mean, if I'm not doing freelance work, I do kind of write all day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it ever the amount of hours, or is it always the amount of words that you're aiming
it's
for?
always for me. It's always words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Clifton Strengths?
What's that, Rachel? Tell us all.
No, it's like a lot of things. You like do not live in the same writing communities I do because they all talk about the Clifton Strengths.
Right. I
And it's
might hear about it and I might go,
it,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's getting your top five strengths. So like mine are achiever and writer are my first two strengths, which I was not surprised to see. So because I obviously have the achiever, I work better if I've got a word goal. So if I say I'm going to write 10,000 words a day rather than I'm going to write 12 hours, it's a better challenge for me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to write for 12 hours, I might only get 6,000 words because there's nothing that I can see that I'm achieving because time just passes.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. That was one of the things when I did my 24 hour one. I just didn't know how much I was. And the only thing that I had was I'd seen someone on BookTube that had done a 12 hour one, and she'd written about 10,000 words or something.
Yeah.
When she was doing like the vlog to show everyone on BookTube, she was going out shopping and this and
Yeah.
that, doing this. That's just having your day. That isn't just because you say, right, well, I'm going to do 12 hours writing after Audi, and that's not part of your writing. So,
No. I think if you do a challenge like that, your acceptable breaks are things like going to get your lunch, your breakfast, having 10 minutes to yourself, not going out.
yeah, well, when I did my 24 hour one, I started off really, really well. And no, I didn't. When I did my 24 hour one, the first hour, I was just like, got loads of time, it's fine. But the one thing that I didn't have, like I said, was a word count to kind of
Yeah.
to be the finish line. The only one I had was she'd done 10,000 or 12,000 words. I want to beat that. Obviously, I'm going to beat that because I'm doing twice as many hours as her. And I ended up doing about 27,000 words in this 24 hour period. But it was weird because I did a lot of messing around, and then it was the last 5 hours. I was just in that fugue state, and I was just hammering it when
Yeah.
I was at my tiredest, which is weird.
I had one, I can't remember what it was now, it was over 10 years ago, and I was like, I want to see if I can write 10,000 words a day every day. And so I got it was the NaNoWriMo. I wanted to basically see if I could win NaNoWriMo in 5 days.
Yeah.
And so I got to the fifth day, wrote my 10,000 words, done 50,000 word in 5 days. And then my brain, because I have achiever kind of personality, was like, what if you do 100,000 words? So I did. I did 100,000 words in 10 days. And then I didn't write for the rest of the month.
Yeah, that's it, innit? I mean, it proper fucks your head up. When you
It
do these big
does.
sprints. I had a book that I'd not I'd done about 60,000 words of it, and I'd just left it. And then I came back to it. I'm like, right, I'm going to finish this book off. It's going to be about 30,000 words just to get it finished. And I ended up doing it over a weekend. But I was living I was writing on my bed, and I was just living there. I was waking up, and I was like, right. And the first day I got 15,000 words done. The next day I did another 15, and then the last day was about 8, just because I'd finished it. But mentally, the second day, mentally, that last 8,000 on the last day, it's weird. It's weird what it does to your head. You're dreaming about these things that you're putting on paper just to wake up and then continue doing it.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but if I do long writing sprints where I've really been in the zone, I can't sleep because my brain's still wired.
Yeah, it's there. It's proper frazzled, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's. I'm sure people. I'm sure there's. It's called something.
Yeah.
PTSD, maybe.
No, it should be WST, writer's stress disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
So,
missed the news on your shoulder for so long. But right, when you write these, say you do your 10,000 words a day, how many of them actually will end up in the book?
probably most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I'm writing new words and you reach that point where you're like, I'm just writing gobbledygook here, it's so that is when I will print, delete, and start rewriting it because it puts me back in the right zone.
No. Okay. And that,
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, our writing styles differ so,
Yeah.
what you read is generally is the first draft. It won't be the first draft, I'll tidy it up, but that is what I wanted to say when I started writing. So that's what's on the page, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I still can't get my head around your
Do you know, the
method.
amount of people have said that, and I'm like, just try it. And I had a friend who did try it, and he was like, "Oh my god, I wrote so much better the second time around." I'm like, exactly. But he's like, I couldn't do it all the time though; it'd do my head in. And I'm like, no, but it's just a fun exercise to do for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, seems we're aimed at new writers. If you were a brand new writer, full-time writer, how would you go about setting up a writing routine or schedule for yourself?
How would you?
I asked the question.
Full time writer. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fuck around. I'm
What
not.
what tips do you have? So, for example, there's someone who's like, right, I've got some time. I'm off for work for 2 months. I can sit down and write my book. How would you be like, right, I'm gonna do this?
I think I'd probably say plot, even though I don't do my plotting myself much. Well, you do, don't you? You do when I'm walking the dog. That's what I'm doing. I'm plotting my book
Yeah.
in my head. I'm not one of these that'll write down every scene and then just take the whole joy out of creative writing because you know exactly where you're going and all you're doing then is you're literally just filling in the gaps. But I think if you were to approach it, a new writer, sitting down, get at least what's going to happen. Not even in the chapters, probably in the beats of the story, because then you're heading towards something. Whenever I've written a book, I've had a scene in mind further on down the line, and that's where I'm heading to. Even if I'm pantsing, that's the goal. And once you've got that place that you want to go to, it takes the procrastination out of it straight away because you want to either discover or reach that place in the book. Yeah, that's my tip. Your turn.
No, you answered it.
It sounded like a thing, that didn't it?
Yeah, no, I always remember someone said to me before I'd gone to full time that is if you go full time or you've got a big chance to write, is actually treat it as if it's a job. and get up and don't think, well, I'll just lay into whatever time, because your time vanishes and you've got to set times for yourself, otherwise you just won't get it done. You'll end up procrastinating and being on TikTok and watching 5 hours of black sails and things. Not that I'm pointing any fingers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When I'm in the shack, this is the reason I built the shack. Is because when I'm in here, I'm either writing or I'm marketing.
You're working.
Yeah, I am working. I mean, marketing might be taking pictures and doing videos and all of that and whatever, but there's nothing else for me to do in here
Yeah.
apart from tidy up, and that would never take that long.
Or make folders.
And what?
Make folders.
Yeah, yeah. That's work, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, but generally speaking, when I'm in here, this is it's and that is that treat it like a job kind of thing. I'm coming to the office, and I know a few authors that have gone full time, and they've either hired out an office, so they're leaving the house because it's so easy when you're in your house to be writing at the dining room table or whatever, and then right, it's dinner time, so you'll go make something in your own kitchen. And then you'll sit down and what you do while you're eating, TV on,
Yep.
3 hours pass. Whereas if you've got an office or something like that, or you hire out an office, or you just go somewhere different. People go to coffee shops and stuff a lot, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
There's nothing else for you to do there. You're not turning on the TV. You're not doing anything like that. You might be drinking a lot of coffee, but that's fine because it's part of your routine, your writing routine. Lost my thread.
I used to do that when I was at uni though. Even if if I had the day off, I would go to the uni library to study, because if I was at home, I was like, well, I've got to load the dishwasher and I'll do do the washing and stuff. Whereas if I was at uni, I was like sat there. There was nothing else for me to do.
Yeah. When I was writing meat, I was at uni in Bolton. I was doing this creative writing course, which the tutor was just literally there to plug her shit book.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, and she'd give us a few exercises, and I'd already written 2 books by then that I was planning to get published. So I'd written about 6 books already, and I was only about 21, 22, and then I started writing Meat Market, and instead of going home when I didn't have a class, because I wasn't living in, I was living out. Instead of going home, I'd go to the library and I'd stay there for a couple of hours, just because it's that, and then that became my place. So it's having a place where you will get your head down and actually do the work.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. It is having a place that switches your brain on to writing mode.
Yeah.
It's like the youngest son moved out, and I was like, right, you're definitely not coming back, are you? Because I'm going to turn this into an office.
I've got plans.
Like, huh?
I've got plans for your...
Yeah, well, no, and then he's like, no, that's it, I moved out. I'm like, right, so stripped it, bought bookshelves, desks, that's my office now. It's like, you can't, I mean, obviously you could come back if you needed to, but it's like, I have a space that's mine, that when I go in there, it's work.
Yeah.
Because there's no TV. I mean, there's just nothing in there. It's my writing stuff and my books. But I think you've got to have that space that kind of like triggers your brain into, this is work mode.
Yeah, when you are, I mean, I'm not even full time, but when you are full time, or you just need to get those words down, having that extra place. Like I said, I've known authors who literally treat it like a 9 to 5 job.
Well, that's literally how I do it. It's a 9 till 5 job, but I always work over. It's the only job I work past my finish time. Every day.
You pay yourself time and a half when you do.
No, my boss is ruthless.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for me, I was fortunate with my writing routine because I was actually at uni, and then when I finished uni, I went straight into being a full-time author because I was only at uni recently. So yeah, not like normal people who do it at 21.
Yeah. What else was there?
Writing when you have a full-time job. So we did need the extra bit.
So writing when you had a full-time job, and it's that
Yeah,
thing that you went on about. What was it? What's it called? Not Clifton Note. The Princeton Principle. What? What was it?
Parkinson's law.
Yeah. And that is, without a doubt, writing when you have a full-time. As long as you get into that process, you feel like because you haven't got as much time. As soon as you sit down, you're more motivated to write.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that one. What was it called?
Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's Law. What are you laughing
Parkinson's.
at? Parkinson's Law. If you have no time at all, you end up writing more.
Yeah,
It's basically it. Yeah. Um,
yeah,
it's weird, isn't it?
yeah.
Right, where were we?
Writing when you have a full-time job or full-time life.
See, go on then.
But you must have written when you've had little kids in the house and a full-time job.
Yeah, I did loads. I did absolutely loads. A kitchen table, and I was just constantly pumped to get these words out. And because I knew I only had an hour or an hour and a half, and it just worked really well. And then I'd just be thinking about it, and I'd be making note. I'd always have a pad and pen next to me, just making little notes, even when watching TV later on. And I'd just always be in the zone, and I love being in that zone of creating. Even if I'm not writing it down, it's being,
Obsessive zone.
yeah, and it's my favourite part of being a writer. And
Yeah.
but having more time it's no good for me.
No, no,
There
no.
was there was an author on the SBS podcast. What was he called now? He did really well with his books, and he went back to a full time job just because having all that time was just doing nothing for him. It was just
Yeah,
completely killing his creativity and stuff. Whereas a lot of
yeah.
people think, oh, to be a full time author, this is the holy grail. Sometimes it's not if your brain's not
No.
right.
But the good thing is, when you're in that position, you can pick and choose what the full-time job is, and it doesn't matter.
Well, he went back. He was working in a warehouse. He had all these books. He learnt Facebook advertising. He put more books in the same series out. Adrian Hell series. What is his name?
Oh, I know him.
He's from
Yeah.
Bury.
Huh?
Uh, he's from Bury, from Chattington. He's just down the road. I know his real name, but I don't want to say it. I can. Yeah. Anyway, so he does these thrillers. This assassin, and he got they became really popular, and he got a following and all the rest of it. He went full time, and then decided, no, I'm not doing anything with my day.
Yeah.
You
And I
know.
get that because when I've been doing, hold on, I was looking up Adrian Hell books because I know the author and I couldn't think of it. James Sumner.
Yeah, James Sumner, that's right, yeah. And he,
Yeah.
he was actually one of the first authors I started chatting to back in 2012 because we were both on Nick Stevenson's first 10,000 reader course. And then found out he was close by, and I said, meet up whenever you want. We never did, but then I think he's moved to America now. But when he came back into a job, it was marketing, Facebook marketing stuff, which he'd learned to sell his own books, and then it's a skill he's got now, and he went that route, and I think he's in America now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to, like, with me taking on the freelance work stuff I'm doing now, I write more than I did before I was doing that because I know I've got to get the words done before I start my freelance work.
Because it's a schedule. You've now got a schedule, whereas if your
Yeah.
day's completely open to writing,
Yeah. It
yeah.
would make that 2,900 words feel like a real slog. And I'd be like, it's took me 6 hours and I don't know why.
But as a full-time author, shouldn't you be? Because this is what they all do and say. You should be writing, doing your creative bit, and then putting on your other hat and spending the rest of the time marketing.
Yeah. But there's only so much marketing you can do. Like I have my Facebook ads run nicely. Don't need to do anything with them. Just get Facebook comes take some money off me every so often.
So why are you not doing 12 TikToks a day on all the different places?
Because I end up scrolling it. How many times do you go on to make a TikTok and then you look at something and then it sends you on a rabbit hole and you put your phone down and you're like, I was supposed to make a bloody TikTok.
Yeah. Especially these slides when they've got like 50 of them. I mean, it's no good for my algorithm thing, but I love the ones that talk about history and stuff like that. And I'll be on them, and then I'll click on that person's profile and I watch everything they've done ever,
Yeah.
which isn't good for my
No,
algorithm
it's like
or
you,
time.
no. Mind you, the ones I'm interested in are still writing related. So it's probably not too bad for my algorithm, but if you catch me on them.
Do you ever, when obviously other authors and stuff ping up on TikTok and stuff like that, do you ever like check how many people they've got, like followers, and how many views they've got?
Yeah.
Like look on the, because usually they'll have like the big posts pinned to the top, the ones that have gone ridiculously viral and stuff.
Yeah. And then I totally demotivate myself because you get that one person who came along, made a bunch of TikToks, wrote one book, and, I'm like, you just set yourself off on the comparison.
But I was just about to say, like, do you know, like, click on that one that's got 3.9 million views or whatever, and then think, what is it about this that I haven't done? It's just a bit of a mystery in it, especially with TikTok. I know
I
you can
think
do.
TikTok's definitely a lottery.
Well, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the way that the algorithm is, where you each time you put a video out, it's going to 98% new people. That in itself means that it's a lottery, because these
Yeah,
are new. If it was
exactly.
going to your followers, you'd have more chance to go viral every time. I mean,
Yeah,
if you had 200,000 followers, and when you put a video out, it goes to them and then some people. Well, they're going to be liking it and commenting and all the rest of it, and then that would push the algorithm. Whereas because it's 98% or whatever new people every single time, it does make it feel like it is a bit of a lottery,
yeah.
and no one knows which one's going to go. And
No.
sometimes I remember in Adam's group, one person was commenting saying that they were doing all these author TikToks and mentioning the book and all the rest of it, and then they put one on of a cat pissing around on the bed, and that's the one that went viral. And they're
Yeah.
like, back.
I don't think we actually covered the how to write when you've got a full-time life.
Well, you say something now. I was saying having no time at all
Makes you brighter, yeah.
makes me more productive.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you?
No, it does. When I had a full-time job, I used to have to snatch minutes. As soon as the kids were in bed, I used to write.
Yeah.
That was. I used to actually, because I was in the civil service. It was easy to just have a little Word document in the corner of my computer screen and then type out some words, and then at the end of the day, just email it to myself.
Yeah.
Don't you do Stephen King's writing routine? The
2,000 words a day.
2,000 words. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I that's what I aim for. And when I am in writing routine mode, I'll do the 2,000 words. But then because I've done those 2,000 words, I want to do more then because
Yeah.
my brain's switched onto it, and that's why I'll usually have a break, think through what I've written, what's coming next for tomorrow, and then when I come back from walking the dog, I'll do something. I'll do a different work in progress.
So do you do that thing that some writers do where you leave yourself mid-sentence so that you're excited to come back? Or do you
No.
leave it at complete?
Yeah, I think it was Stephen Fry who said he did that.
Yeah.
Mid set. Oh no, that'd do my head in.
No, I'd lose my
Like,
train of thought.
yeah, I'd be like, what was I going to say? Oh, and I'd spend the first hour trying to figure out what the sentence is about. No, what I do is the next morning I'll read through and lightly edit if I see any mistakes. I'll just do a read through of that previous day's work just so I'm up to speed, and then I'll
Yeah.
continue with the next bit. I'll usually write a chapter in one go though. I won't leave a chapter.
I'll leave myself mid chapter. I wouldn't leave myself mid sentence, but I do leave myself mid chapter. And if I'm mid chapter, I leave, or if I write a full chapter, I leave myself notes as what I want this next chapter to be.
Yeah, just like a little paragraph of what's to come next kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's literally just sentences of what I want next, just so I can pick up the next day. So Patreon, how's Patreon been?
I need to. Right, yesterday I want to do this solo. What are you laughing at? I haven't said anything remotely funny yet.
It's
What? What?
better, it's better than me coughing.
Right, Patreon. So I want to do this solo blogcast. I want to do this solo blogcast. I want to do a solo podcast for Patreons, and I just don't have any ideas about what I'm going to do for it. And then I thought, well, I'll just read out some of my blog posts. That'd be nice, you know. But the kind of funny, entertaining, about nothing blog posts. And I thought, well, that'd be quite fun. But the only problem is, when you're reading something, you've got that voice in your head, and you're going whatever speed you like, and to get it, you know. When you're talking into, well, first of all, I had it all on transcription, teleprompter. So all I'm doing is staring into the screen and just reading and just it's only 10 minutes. It would take me 10 minutes, and I'd fluff a line and I go, it doesn't matter, I can edit that out. And like, yeah, but I want it to be like a monologue, so I need to go back and do it. It's only 10 minutes. My fifth try, I was doing it and I was getting all the air into it, and it seemed reasonably funny and tongue in cheek or whatever. And then my stepson came out to ask me a question. And then oh fuck it, right, I'll start again, and it just didn't work. So I need to figure out what else I could do for this my blog cast, because I just don't. It just isn't working the same. My voice isn't my voice on paper, and it's quite
Yeah,
difficult, you know.
yeah.
Any suggestions?
Um, if I want to make a script like that for some topic I'm doing on my own channel, I will dictate my blog post, because then when I read it back as a prompt, it's in my talky voice.
Right. That doesn't help at all. But thanks,
No,
because I've already got them.
because when you dictate it, you can then go put it onto paper and you can edit it so so then it's a full script,
Yeah.
and then you've got it as a blog post, but it's more, it reads different.
But I've already got the blog post that I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
So what I would do if I already had the blog post, what I do, because I use Otter to dictate, I would get
Right.
that blog post and I would dictate that blog post into Otter, but as a script. So, because there's bits you change, isn't there? Because you talk different how you write.
Yeah, and I think that's what
So
the problem was.
so I would let myself turn it into a how I talk thing, and then I would import the Otter script into ChatGPT or Claude, and then get it to put it as a script, and then I'd read that because it would sound different. That's what I would do.
It should. Yeah, because I mean, this one that I did was called "Be Like Pete's Mum or Dad," and it was just basically just taking the piss, saying how selfish my parents are for having me so young, because I'm going to be in my 70s before I see any inheritance. but and they're even doing stuff like stopping smoking and going on diets just to
Terrible parents.
really just to spite us kids,
Yeah.
and so that's what it's about. And then you've got Pete, whose mum and dad were in. Whose mum and dad died when he was like 22 because they were 70, and he's got it made because they had their lads before they had Pete, and he got all the big inheritance, and now he's just on a yacht going around the Med, loving life, and I'm here waiting with my brothers while our parents talk about going walking and stuff,
Yeah.
and
See, it's
you know,
completely relatable because I'm like your parents and I had my kids dead young, so
yeah,
yeah. It's like my son the other day was threatening to put me in a home, and I'm like, you're 16 years younger than me. You'll be in there with me.
yeah, that's true,
You're gonna be old when I'm old.
yeah. So that's what it was about. This and so
It's
there's
funny.
no, yeah, there's no. It's just a massive monologue though. Me telling the story. There's no dialogue really. It's just me telling the story, and it reads great on paper, but then when I fucking say it, it's just I'm just trying to keep up with the words that are quickly going, and that's all I'm focused on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I did manage to do them before, like when I used to do my YouTube channel, I did ones about deconstructing Disney and stuff, and I thought it came across all right. And I don't know what's up with me,
No.
you know.
Maybe you're just trying too hard.
Yeah, maybe. But
Right.
I mean, the difference between this is I'm using a teleprompter, so I'm having to do it right there. When I used to do them on YouTube, I'd memorize. It took fucking ages. I'd memorize a little bit of it, and I'd do that bit, and then I'd memorize a little bit more, and I'd do that bit, and then it'd take a long time, and the editing took a long time, but it just seemed more natural because I was not just constantly scared of the teleprompter going further than I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any ideas for blog for podcasts, a solo podcast? I don't think I've even listened to solo podcasts. So I have no idea about it. It's just an idea I had, and
Yeah, I don't think they're very long, are they? Solo podcasts are like
no,
10 to 20-minute
yeah,
episodes.
yeah. Well, there's
I
no one to
listen,
talk
but the
with.
solo podcasts I listen to tend to be crime ones, so they're telling you a story.
Yeah, I guess I
And
need
you're
to
not going to
listen.
listen to the ones that we listen to because it's like murder and makeup, and I can't imagine you listen to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I chat to my brother. My brother's got some ideas for me. He usually gives me some good ideas, so I'll have a chat with him later, see what he comes up with. Because
Mind you,
he's,
isn't it just like doing a YouTube channel, except you're not on camera?
I am on camera as well.
Alright, so you are videoing it. So why not treat it just like a YouTube episode?
Yeah, I guess I need to, don't I? But yeah. Apart from that, Patreon's going great. People are reading my stuff that's not yet out.
How many people now?
Paid or not,
Both.
I've got 11 people altogether and 3 paid.
That's great though, because it's gone up once because it was 2 last week.
Yeah, someone's done the buy an author a pint tier, the
Yeah.
lowest tier, but it is a tier nonetheless.
It
They've,
doesn't matter, even if it's only £10 a month, it's still 120 quid a year.
yeah, exactly, yeah, for one person.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's one of your subscriptions every month, that you have to pay these little piddly things for.
yeah. Well, yeah. So at the moment, I'm trying to figure out the value to offer the people who are paying. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also I think I mentioned it last time we talked. I want to try and merge, get my people on my mailing list over to my Patreon just for free. That's fine, but
Yeah.
then they're in that ecosystem kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
One of the authors that I used to follow on Patreon as his fan, he used to just sit on his sofa with his camera. Like, he literally lying on the sofa with his bloody dog, just
yeah,
talking about some random crap that had happened that day. Someone that, pissed him off in the supermarket. It didn't matter. But because you're interested in him as an author, they were interesting stories.
yeah, and that's a lot more natural than
Yeah.
teleprompt.
So I think maybe you've got they've got the perfectionism thing stopping you just doing the natural thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I might do
So
that.
like if you turned on the camera, because like when you were telling me that story about your parents, um, being young and everything, it was like funny because I can totally relate to it and people will relate to it.
Yeah.
And if you just sat and told someone the whole story without thinking it's got to be a blog post style, it would
Yeah.
probably come out better. And
Yeah,
people would
probably,
find,
and also like because I'm thinking when I'm telling, I'm thinking, well, there's certain bits that I want to get in. Like just when I told you then, I wanted to mention the fact that they're really selfish they're now exercising and doing all they can to stay alive to despite us. So there's those like little beats in the story that I want to hold on to, but then it
so if I
not.
was you, I would write the little beats that you want to get into it and don't have it on a prompter. Just stick it on a piece of paper and then
Yeah,
just sit and record and just chat it naturally the same way you've just done to me and then
yeah,
post that. And because the people that are on your Patreon are there not for all the pretty books and words. They're there because they're interested in you, the person that is the author.
yeah. It's behind the scenes, isn't it? And that is
Yeah,
behind the scenes. Yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah. I
you
might.
take your favorite author and put you as a member of their Patreon, or your favourite actor, you wouldn't care if they were stood in the kitchen making a cup of coffee telling you about the most random crap that's just happened in their day because you're just interested because you're a fan of theirs.
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah. So you have to remember that they are a fan and they are there because they like you as an author and stuff.
yeah. I do that. It's got to be better than the shit that I recorded yesterday.
Try it and post it and
I
see.
will do. I will do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got loads. I've got a whole blog book full of the funny ones, and I remember when I wrote one of them, and it was talking about experiences with Tinder. I did actually walking home from dropping the kids off when they're younger. I did transcribe it in my phone, and then I went home and transcribed it. So it was all the beats were just coming to me naturally through speech, and then I did, and it was yeah. I will do that thing. What do you have on your Patreon? Like what do they get? Because I feel
Well,
like I
obviously,
need to add more.
no. So mine get chapters as I write them. They get signed postcards with my book covers on. Obviously, this is different levels. They'll get signed paperback as I release it. They get the ebook as I release it. They get me just whittering on about stuff in life. I'll take a picture. And you know when you take a picture, but it's not one you'd post on Facebook, but it's one you'd send to your mate.
Yeah.
That I'll post those up with stuff.
No.
Like we went out to you know where Beacon Fell is.
Yeah.
So we went out to Beacon Fell in the evening, and when all the planets were lined up, took a picture of all the planets, really good picture, and I posted. I'm like, hey, look at this. And that's nothing to do with my writing, but it was something personal, but it wasn't something private. And they were all like, and I got loads of comments on it because they were all talking about whether they could see them and how cool it is. I had another time where there was this, because I live near a river, and we'd got a bloody mouse in the kitchen, and I was trying to catch this damn thing, and I didn't want to put traps down for it, I didn't want to poison it, I was trying to catch, and it went on for like weeks, me trying to catch this mouse, and it got to the point where I was like getting emails for an update on this mouse, and in the end there's this picture when I did catch the mouse, I was like, look what I got, but
Yeah.
it was an insight for them into my personal life, because they're interested in me.
Yeah. So I need to stop overthinking it, don't I?
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you treat them like they're your mates,
Yeah.
but don't post anything that's like really private.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the author I follow on Patreon, he writes really lad books and horror and stuff like that, And he put a post up once about being in bed with his wife and how he passed wind and pulled the covers over her head and held her there. And that was literally his post. There was so much interaction, but it was just, it was his personality coming through. And it's like, if you go off and do something, like, share it with them, you know. If you go on a holiday, obviously you don't have to do your whole holiday, but, you know, if there's just something funny or something cool that you see that you would send to a friend on a messenger, send it to them as well.
Right, I should have a thing, yeah, because this kind of thing, it just won't come through, right?
No. You know the stupid crap you'd probably send to your brother?
Yeah.
Send them that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that is, if it's, because that, from what, I've not read your meat market stuff, but in my brain that's the kind of person that's in those books, so that would fit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's getting out of the newsletter mindset.
Yeah, it's not a newsletter, it's literally your fans. They're there for you.
Yeah. Whereas with a newsletter, the majority of are on your list because they wanted to freeze something there.
Yeah. But these ones are there because they want to get to know you and they want to be your friend, kind of thing.
And they're paying for the privilege as well, aren't they? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're putting the money where the mouth is.
Yeah. It's like, I would even, you know, we've done this podcast episode. I would even, like, I've just done this podcast episode, this, that, and the other, we've chatted about this, and, you know, if there's anything interesting, and talk about what you've done.
Yeah. Okay, I will get on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like it's been a bit of a stunted one today.
Yeah. I think we need prompts for our podcast episodes.
Yeah. And I'll just, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll just be like that.
I reckon when we pull the shorts out, that's the one we need. The one where you're just staring up for ages.
Yeah.
Not the one that says you're going after women who are ferocious.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. So last week's podcast, I said at one point in it that I'm going after women, meaning I'm on TikTok. That's who I'm.
That doesn't make it sound any better.
On TikTok, that's who I'm targeting to show my book to.
That was it. You said it comes on the short. It's just like, I'm targeting women, and I'm like, okay, here is the new Ripper for the Northwest.
Yeah, this is a true crime podcast.
This is the one that will be shown in all the documentaries in 20 years when they're making a thing
Completely out
about
of context, yeah, brilliant.
all of Rob's thing. But that's the kind of things they show on your Patreon. Go and download that, put it in your Patreon, and go, look at how this, you know, what do you think I'm talking about here?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. What are we doing next week, Rachel?
I don't know. Rob.
Should we do, and this is only because I've been chatting to an author about it this week, should we do mailing lists?
Yeah.
Because we've touched on it, but we haven't, like, gone into it. You know, like reader magnets, mailing lists, the sort of readers you will have on your list, how to, how to deal with the lists and all that fun stuff. I quite enjoy that. I quite enjoy doing that for my authors as well. You know, when I'm setting up the behind the scenes and stuff, and all the automations and yeah, I waffle on for ages. I think we did do one, and I started waffling on for ages about it when you just asked one question, quit.
Yeah, we'll do mailing lists and newsletters.
Mailing lists and newsletters and / reader magnets because it's part of it, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And that will be episode 12. So this was episode 11, and it's been a pleasure to speak to you as always. And it's now your turn to say see you, Rob.
See you, Rob.